What's up, everybody? This is Matt Ogle with VYPE Media, and I'm here with the champion in the house. We got Coach Aaron Beck from all the way in Fort Worth, from All Saints Episcopal. All right, Coach, huge season y'all had. Y'all went 14-0 and dominated your way all the way to a TAPS D2 championship. So, detail what this season, how y'all were able to display such dominance in every facet of the game. I could see everything was clicking in all cylinders. Talk about what it took to achieve this moment.
Well, even when you've got a good team, and Matt, let me back up. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it very much, and appreciate everything VYPE does for sports, high school sports in our great state. Um, it doesn't matter how good your team is, you still have to have a little bit of luck to get through a season like we did. And what I mean by that, with the old cliche, this was season 39 for me, and probably we were as healthy this season as I've ever been in any season. We had really good numbers. We had some depth that we haven't had in the last few years, but we didn't lose anyone for more than a week throughout that journey. So that was key. Outside of that, we had really good players. I mean, we just we had a great roster, and it's been my experience when you get really a roster like we've had, it kind of goes one of two ways. And thankful that this roster was just so selfless and they truly played for each other week by week by week. And, I don't know about the coaching staff, 14 weeks, that's a long season. And my coaches we were so excited, and it's a rare treat when going into the last game that it is the last game of the season. But man, our kids had so much gas in the tank. I think they could have played another week or two. But it was great to get the win. Second Baptist, a wonderful program, wonderful school, great head coach, Beck, and just the journey, to get to that. Starting out the season with Parish Episcopal, Prestonwood, those are great programs as well. Just classification above us. Getting through those 2 weeks and both. We could have been 0-2 just as easy. They were close games down to the wire, but getting through those first two kind of set the tone for us for the year, gave our kids some confidence, and they played that way for the rest of the season.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I'm sure that, like you said, those first two matchups would have, like you said, it's a real gut check, I would say, because you got so like Parish Episcopal, they were in the TAPS one championship. They did fall to Liberty Christian, and great things are happening over there as well. But yeah, I'm sure, yeah, it really set the tone, like you said. So you said you've been there for 39 years. This is,
Well, it's my 39th season, my 18th year here at
okay,
All Saints.
okay. But it's the program itself. I saw it's the eighth championship overall, as far as I could tell from the Twitter, because it was like 2002 through 2016 was the last one.
Yeah, we All Saints have won 7 SBC championships, and then we transitioned from SBC to TAPS. I think 6 years ago, 7 years ago. We've made the semifinals twice. We've played for one, didn't win it. So this is the first TAPS championship that we won, which is really, really special for this group of kids. We've got a strong, robust program, but this group gets to notch that hey, we won the first TAPS championship for All Saints, so that was special.
Very cool. I can imagine it's SBC. Like that's, I mean, there are some very talented programs in SBC, no doubt, but TAPS is essentially the show when it comes to private school, I would argue, because there's so much variety to it and so many different places. There's programs all over the place. Anyways, um, talk about some of your key players for this. I noticed Gavin Parker's had himself a game in the championship, but he wasn't the only one that got him to that point. The defense shut down Second Baptist. So detail some of these huge players, a lot of them seniors, and what it meant to them to secure this first TAPS victory.
Well, when I was growing up, running backs were the feature of the game. Today, it's quarterbacks, and and it's hard to compete without a really, really good one. And Gavin certainly is that. He might have a stat that nobody's got. He was at Trinity Valley SPC last year, and they won the championship at their level. And he transferred in mid-year last year when Keldon Ryan left us to go to DeSoto, and Gavin came in and just fit immediately. Great student of the game. He's a quarterback everywhere he goes. Great in the classroom. So we checked that box with him. Very just a competitor. Kids rallied around him in a great way. Then he's we've got 5 or 6 great wide receivers, but Cumate Williams that's headed to Boise, especially in the latter part of the season, just turned into an unstoppable guy. Now, Second Baptist took him out of the game, and the elements kind of took the passing game away after halfway through the first quarter. It just started raining, and it was cold and windy, and thank goodness we'd scored some points prior to that, because it really just became, hey, don't turn the ball over after that, and it was that kind of game. Having said that, our defensive line and our defensive front, and quite frankly the back end too, just dominant. Our defense set quite a few records this year. Dalton Knapp committed to K-State. You don't know where he's coming from, the way our defensive coordinator, Brian Evanson, runs our defense. He moves we base out of 4-2-5, but rarely are we truly in a 4-man front, play a lot of 3-man front. And that gives Dalton the ability to come from the edge, come from the middle, and he's so twitchy. And then Blake Robinette, TCU commit on the interior, backed up with 2 linebackers, Jacob Maynard committed to West Point, and then Keon Atkins, who we've got coming back, that's actually our leading tackler. Kingston Byer inside as a sophomore, Gatlin Gearhart on an edge, Hudson Harbuck on an edge. We just had depth, and we're able to roll those guys and keep them fresh all season. And man, in that last game where the elements came into play, and then we got up, forcing Second Baptist to probably throw the ball way more than they wanted to in a game like that, just put us in a good position. And I was talking to somebody earlier today that, I've had years where, man, the offense was really talented, and we had to score a lot of points because the defense wasn't that strong, or the defense was talented, and we had to play keep away because the offense and field position wasn't that strong. This year, both sides of the ball were strong. Cumante Williams, Bryce Anderson, Hudson Reeser, Connor McCurdy, Kalen Lemming. The wide receiver depth was deep also. We didn't have, yesterday in the All-State meeting, I couldn't sit there and defend players through stats because so many guys played, and some of our games were, lots of guys got to play. And so I just could defend it by, quite frankly, where our seniors are going on to play in college, and by the win-loss record. And that's the kind of team we had. And honestly, man, give me that kind of team every single year, where we don't. And I think that's what makes the locker room healthy, where they know, hey, we're not going to be the stat leaders, because it's not just one guy. It's a lot of guys, and that was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd like to vouch for every single player on your roster whenever you go to that all-state meeting. But yeah, I did notice, especially, and I do appreciate whenever coaches and the coaching staff such as yourself provides all these stats on max preps, because it gives me such a better perspective of who's who with your team. But yeah, it seemed like you had so much depth all the way around, and I bet it was a huge moment also because of, like you said, it's ugly weather, especially in that recording that I noticed. To get ahead, I noticed Cash Carter is a freshman. He got that first touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. Passed from.
Yeah, no, I think maybe that was probably a misprint. Cash Carter is a freshman whose dad, Tank Carter, was a great linebacker at TCU, but Cash wasn't in the game. So probably a duplicate number got picked up. That first, I think the first touchdown was actually Jake Powers, our tight end, if I'm not mistaken. Second Baptist drew first blood with field goal, and then we answered that coming down the field with Jake. and Gavin ran one in. Gavin may have run two, and I can't even remember
I think he
how
did.
our offensive piece came down. But so many kids contribute and have to this. And the guys that don't get a lot of credit because there are no stats for O linemen, but oh my gosh, I put our O line up against anybody. They were such a dominant group this year. Ian Bothwell and Hudson Dalton and Kwame Osai, um, Barrett Bray and Eric Adcock and Jax Thomas and Hayden Powell Freeman. Man, we had 7 guys that could play on the O line. We got 3 senior O linemen graduating. All 3 are going on playing college. And so, it's just that kind of group of guys. And then, on the DB side, Caden Richardson, who's graduating this year, first team All State for us, just an unbelievable threat in the back end of the secondary, or one of those kind of threats that kind of goes unnoticed. Nobody throws to that side because the skill set's so strong. We just had so many guys peppered, throughout the entire squad. And the really exciting thing is when I look at our roster, we had 19 seniors, but we're about 85 total, and we played a lot of sophomores this year. We started a lot of sophomores this year. So I've got 3 returning linemen. The defensive line, there's 3 returning guys there. The DB's returning. I got 4 wide receivers turning. So we've got a good group coming up, and the next couple of years look really good as well.
Very cool. I mean, I must have misread Max Preps for Cash Carter, but I mean, I'm sure you.
Hey, here's the deal. Look for that name in a couple of years.
Okay.
You'll see Cash coming up, and we're excited about him. And got a lot of young guys we're excited about too.
So, I mean, you do have a lot of seniors graduating, but as you just mentioned, you got so many names coming up. So I wouldn't say it's a rebuild. It's more of a reload. You just gotta get ready for another.
We've been here so long, and I'm so fortunate that my coaching staff has been here with me that timeline too, for the most part. People get sick of me saying this, but I'm never going to stop saying it. More than half of my coaches I had the privilege to coach when they were in high school, and they went on and played, and now they're back, pursuing their careers, which is really, really special. But our roster 9 through 12 of a little over 80 is all kind of balanced. It's not like we got a big senior class and a small junior class. Those numbers stay consistent through, and that doesn't happen overnight. I mean, it's not a, hey, I got to win right now scenario. That's not how we operate. And so trying to build that bench, 7th grade, 8th grade that feeds in. And that's the nice thing about being a K through 12 school. We've kind of got a captive audience. Football's a numbers game. And if you've got depth, you got a chance. If you don't, you really need a lot of luck. But it's a fun time to be a Saint right now, of course.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's one of the cool things I noticed about the K through 12. Also, especially, you don't really have to worry about scouting for the middle school programs. They're already right there. So you're able to kind of have that influence and know who's going to be the next generation for your program. All right, last question. I did notice a lot of, not only for the football team's Twitter tag, but the athletic program in general, the Twitter tag, it's PTF, Protect the Family. Can you detail what the meaning behind that is and why that seems to be the mantra for All Saints?
When I joined the All Saints community in 2007, joined right before spring football started in March. And of course, when a new coach coming in, booster clubs want to, hey, what's your tagline? What's your battle cry? And all those kind of things. And I came from a proud high school football program. And of course, this is back in the 70s, but LD Bell and Trinity, Plano were kind of superpowers back in my heyday. And I had a wonderful coaching staff led by Tim Edwards, and it was very tradition rich. When I got here, my coaching path from Nolan Catholic to Trinity Valley to ESD, I'd been a Viking, a Trojan, and an Eagle, and I get to All Saints, and I'm the Saints. And I'm like, how do I build a battle cry around that? I look up the patron saint of war, and it looks like a Trojan or a Viking, and I'm like, I can't do that. And so, what what I was attracted to the most about the school is it was very family oriented. And so I thought, protect the family. That's going to be a good thing. We want to build a family environment. We want to create a football family atmosphere. So PTF was born. And in the beginning, first 2 to 3 years, it was just a football thing. It lived in the football piece. And I told the folks when we made that T-shirt, we're not going to ever vary. When you look at the helmet, I inherited a classic helmet with a block S, and we just married to that. We didn't change the look of the uniforms, and we still haven't. When you look at us, we're real traditional, and so PTF just became the thing. Well, it really became the mascot of the school. Is what happened. I started to see PTF pop up in the lower school and carpool line. Somebody put on a license plate. Somebody started a company, and it just over the years has evolved into a community battle cry. And it's just turned into our brand, and that's been fun to watch that thing grow just from a football T-shirt into a community battle cry that you can't. I think right there, the
Yeah,
poster. You can't walk around our campus without PTF, in your face somewhere, and so we're proud of that.
that's pretty awesome. They're kind of incepting that and what like it was like a little seed, and now it's huge all over All Saints. And clearly, people are probably going to start recognizing it a lot more now that y'all won this championship and established this precedent. Anyways, thank you so much for your time, Coach. It seems like we talked for it went by so quickly, but anyways, thank you for your time. What an awesome season this was, and we're really excited to see how it transfers over to the next year and the next year, and how Protect the Family will continue to grow. But yeah, anyways, this has been Matthew Ogle with VYPE Media, and I was speaking with Coach Aaron Beck from All Saints. We'll see y'all at the games.
Thank you, Matt.